Day 1 in Goblinstone. The game began and I found myself controlling two little goblins, alone in a dank, dark cave. The combat mechanics reminded me of Darkest Dungeon blended with a card-based roguelike, and Jesus Christ, I am in love. I love this combat. As we ventured out of the cave, I stumbled upon a mysterious item, the Goblin Stone. When we touched it, spirits of goblins flooded forth, urging us to place the stone deep within the woods. So we pocketed the stone and emerged into a place called the Old Woods. Our journey began through these old woods and led us to encounter more goblins who joined our ranks. Among them was a shield-wielding guard. We also rescued another goblin, a shaman, who wielded magic and buffed our party. Then fate led us to an inn teeming with humans. Here, we faced our first boss, the innkeeper. The battle was long and grueling, yet we emerged victorious without major injuries. Beneath the human inn lay a goblin shrine, where we placed the Goblin Stone, revealing our newfound home, the Goblin Lair. Day 2 in Goblinstone, I set forth to scout the Merry Hills, a teeming expanse infested with wolves and spiders. After that, I returned to the Goblin Lair where I constructed new rooms. After that, my curiosity led me to explore the Whistling Heath, a place swarming with elite humans. It was there that tragedy struck. Our shaman, Quip Hunter, suffered a mortal wound, our first mortal wound ever in the game. In response, I established a shaman guild, determined to recruit replacements for Quip Hunter. Undeterred, I delved into the Furrow's Nest, where we faced our first elite adversary, Dash McQuick. The battle was fierce, but with our new party member, we swiftly overcame him. And so as the sun dipped below the horizon, I decided to call it a day. Day 3 in Goblinstone, our friend the Orc visited us, bearing news of a prophecy, a hero destined to reunite the monster folk tribes. Before parting ways, we pledged our friendship. The Orc then invited us to forge with him in the morrow. As we journeyed to meet our orc friend in Furrow's Rest, fate intervened. We stumbled upon a group of halflings lugging a giant sack. It looked like they kidnapped our orc companion. It looked like the halflings took him towards the eastern thicket. So we ventured into the eastern thicket, a perilous domain. The area teemed with zombies, tough, relentless, and bolstered by each other's attacks. But despite casualties, we pressed on. Deep within the thicket, the battles were fierce. Tragically, a zombie claimed one of our goblin shamans, Pond Cooker. His memory will linger. Yet even with one casualty, we reached the end of the thicket, confronting the band of halflings who captured our orc friend. These guys were resilient, but after a long, hard-fought battle, we prevailed and saved the orc. Day 4 in Goblinstone, after reassuring the captive orc, he frantically bolted towards the hinterlands. Intrigued, we followed, eager to uncover the cause of his haste. Our path led us to Chipper Bluff, but before we could chase him deep into the bluff, we needed to scout the area. As we ventured deeper, we encountered a mini-boss, Ripper, a colossal direwolf. Our seasoned goblins, now expert wolf slayers, faced the beast without casualties. With Ripper defeated, we finally reunited with our orc friend. From a hilltop, we surveyed the land and witnessed a grim sight. A halfling slave camp, overrun by undead. The orc slaves fought desperately for their lives. Driven by horror, we sprang into action. Deeper into the bluff we ventured, clearing out zombies until we reached the camp's heart. There we confronted the mastermind behind the zombie invasion, a massive ghoul. Our blessing granted us 30% chance to stun with basic attacks, which provided an OP advantage over the enemy. The zombies were staggered and stunned basically the whole fight, and we emerged victorious, rescuing the orc slaves. Day 5 in Goblinstone. After saving the orc slaves, we vowed to prevent such horrors from reoccurring. Returning to the goblin slave camp, we sought the head of the halfling warden. Deep within the prison, we found him, trembling in fear, but above him loomed a great terror, a malevolent wight, hungry for its next victim. Before the wight could claim the warden, it turned its malevolent gaze upon us. Battle ensued, a grueling struggle against this formidable foe. Our trusty peon goblin mineweaver fought valiantly, but suffered a mortal wound. Victorious over the wight, we watched in dismay as the scumbag halfling warden seized the chaos to escape. The orcs then invited us to their stronghold deep within the hinterlands. However, before meeting the orcs at their stronghold, I made a fateful decision to return to Clipper Buff and face the unknown scourge. This was disastrous. A side boss of immense power. This game has permadeath, and we experienced it in full here. My loyal companions and I suffered a full team wipe. Day 6 in Goblinstone. Reeling from yesterday's crushing defeat, I rallied a new ragtag crew of goblins. Upgraded weapons in hand, we set off for Greenshaws to meet the orcs at their stronghold. Along the way, we stumbled upon a gruesome mini-boss, Bloodhunter, a giant spider. My ragtag crew surprisingly clicked, and since Broodhunter had no armor, we dispatched her swiftly. Pride swelled within me for my new team. At the orc stronghold, we found our friend, now the village leader. He tasked us with tracking down more of his kin across the hinterlands. But before seeking the orcs, I sought my revenge for my fallen comrades by facing the rat handler. It was a tough battle, but with our upgraded weapons, we avenged our losses. Sweet victory washed over us. Next, I ventured into Brightwood to find the orcs' kin. There we faced the strongest halfling yet, Finn Fleetstep. He granted haste to his allies and hurled bombs, dealing massive damage to our frontline goblins. We triumphed, but at the cost of our goblin shaman, Lexskewer. Alas, the orcs we sought had already abandoned this village. Alas, this is where I decided to end my adventure. I had fun with this one. It felt like a lighter version of Darkest Dungeon, but with goblins. I may come back to this game in the future, but Dragon's Dogma 2 has just been released, and I would be lying if I said I wasn't extremely excited to dive into it. I hope you all enjoyed my journey through Goblinstone, and fear not, there will be more adventures to come.